welcome back to the Compliance Kitchen. Today we will look at an enforcement action. This is coming out of the DOJ. On July 30th, they issued a release of a seizure of a tanker, M/T Courageous, that was used to make illicit deliveries of petroleum products to North Korea. So according to the release, payments to purchase the Courageous, the vessel, and to obtain oil for North Korea and to procure necessary services for the Courageous were made using US dollars through the US banking system. So there would be your US law nexus right there. Money flowed through the US banking system. So these actions were in violation of the US law and applicable United Nations Security Council resolutions. The owner of this vessel is a Singaporean national who, according to the release, remains at large. Pursuant to the International Emergency Economic Powers Act and also the North Korea Sanctions and Policy Enhancement Act of 2016, those that OFAC has determined are involved in the facilitation of proliferation of weapons of mass destruction, or WMDs, are prohibited from engaging in transactions with US persons, or also they're prohibited from using the US financial system. The United Nations Security Council has similar economic sanctions on North Korea, prohibiting, among other things, the conduct of ship-to-ship transfers, or STS transfers, you may hear it under that term sometimes as well, with North Korea flagged vessels, and also prohibits the provision of petroleum products to North Korea. So according to documents that were filed in this matter, the vessel owner and his co-conspirators engaged in a pretty extensive scheme to evade the sanctions that we just touched on. Courageous was procured through front companies to further the scheme to evade sanctions and to launder money. The DOJ tells us that Courageous disabled its AIS transmitter to stop broadcasting its location. During the same time frame when the AIS went dark, satellite imagery showed that Courageous both engaged in a ship-to-ship transfer to a North Korean ship, the Saebyol, which has been designated previously by OFAC, and also traveled to the North Korean port of Nampo. It is alleged that the vessel's owner and his co-conspirators also engaged in operating a series of shell companies, lying to international shipping authorities about Courageous dealings with North Korea, and also falsely identified Courageous as another ship in order to evade detection. So as far as payments, payments denominated in US dollars were processed through US-based correspondent bank accounts to purchase oil, including more than $1.5 million to purchase the oil that was transferred to the Saebyol, over $500,000 to buy Courageous, and thousands more to procure necessary services for Courageous and other vessel, including registration fees, ship materials, salary for crew members, and so forth. So once again, although you're looking at a vessel that's not US owned or owned by a US person, because the payments went through the correspondent bank accounts within the US banking system, that's enough for the US government to obtain jurisdiction over the situation. So the US government worked with Cambodian authorities last year. They seized Courageous in March of 2020 and held the vessel there pursuant to a US seizure warrant. So again, this is a summary. The release is more detailed if you want to take a look at it. I invite you to hop over to compliancekitchen.com, and I have a post there for you guys with a link to the DOJ release for more information.